Hello, poster fans. Welcome back to the Psychedelic Art Exchange YouTube channel. We are back with another wonderful crop of vintage concert posters to show off to you that are available in our current auctions. But if you tuned in last week, you know we talked a lot about third-party slabbed and graded CGC posters. So this week we wanted to talk a little bit about how that compares to raw in-house graded items that we're able to offer a bit more frequently. So take it away.
Yes, well, as Katie mentioned, you'll notice that many of the same titles, same posters show up in both the graded sales that we have and our mega sales. Our mega sale, for those of you new to this, are house graded posters that come in from consigners that choose not to have the posters certified by CGC, either to avoid the additional costs or that they're too damaged and it's not worth it. As it stands now, many of the collectors of graded posters are looking for high grades in the common material. And when I say common, I mean the Fillmore and Avalon, the stuff that really built this collectible. So the perfect example to start with is the BG 162, which is starting to get really good money in high grade holders and like 9/8 holders. This is, one of Lee Conklin's best pieces, one of the best pieces of Grateful Dead art in the, in the whole series. It was also the posters for the shows where they recorded Live Dead, which is a lot of people's entry point, at least people my age, before, all of the recordings were available. Anyhow, this is a reasonably easy poster to identify between the original and the reprints, as the original is missing the W in the corner. In some of the Bill Graham reprints, there is this seagull shaped W. This is, not a poster that's difficult to authenticate on your own, but there are several in the series that do require, a little bit of additional work. Now, CGC uses Eric King's guide to identifying these posters. It's been the standard for identifying between printings for decades, and they use Eric's book, which you can get also and learn the stuff yourself. Not every collector cares to dive in at that level. Many collectors want to be assured that what they're getting is correct without, having to do the research or risk, especially as the dollars for these pieces keeps increasing. So anyhow, this 162 is like a prime example. This is, also I might say that because of the advent of CGC grading, our in-house grading has gotten more conservative, because something we want to avoid is sending someone a poster, having them send it to CGC, and getting a less desirable grade than they, envisioned. Now, this is not always controllable because the grading process is subjective on both ends. But with a clean print like this, it's pretty, we're getting into minute things like tiny little corner bumps and whatnot. The differences between grades when you have many copies that are clean become much more minute. Anyhow, this is, where it's lying now, a huge steal. I mean, if you compare it to what the high grade pieces are getting in 9/8 holders. But again, this is sort of an entry point piece. It's an easy one that if you want to buy something raw, it's pretty easy to find the trust in.
Yeah. Awesome. And we will carefully put it away.
Also, in the same sale is the BG 227, one of David Singer's best pieces. I mean, Grateful Dead and Miles Davis, near perfect bill in my opinion. This is a Dead collector's must have. Again, getting big money in holders. This really clean example, signed by David Singer, is in our sale raw, and again, this one does not have the little squiggly W, therefore we're certain that it's a first printing.
There you go.
Now, to get into some of the stickier aspects and why third-party grading and certification is sometimes helpful, I want to bring into a couple examples of why. This is the FD101 Rick Griffin Quicksilver poster, and this is the second printing. And if you go into Eric King's guide, the way to identify the first from the second printing, there is a minute difference in measurement. There is like a slight hair, but you need precision rules and whatnot really to measure this stuff correctly. Also, there were some variances in paper stock. I mean, it's useful, but it's not 100% useful. But for this poster, Eric describes a woven pattern of the paper on the back of the original. And the reprint does not have that woven pattern. In fact, we have a copy here, and unfortunately, it's a little bit hard to identify the woven pattern behind the CGC plastic. But, I can see it, and I've seen many of it. Also, there's a slight back print, which the reprint doesn't have. Also, to the more experienced eye, on the reprint, there's a little bit of blue bleed through near the ticket strip. And this is all subtle stuff. And those of us that have been collecting for years, are reasonably familiar with these, with what to look for. But for the novice or the entry level collector, this is why CGC can be helpful. Also, if you want the best of the best by someone's determination, it's their determination. So anyhow,
and that's a poster that I think there's a bunch of like original printings as well. So that's one of the stickier ones that you might prefer to have someone else authenticate for you, as opposed to just one that has one or two printings.
And also, this is one of Rick's strongest designs, and this is just a incredibly weird and wonderful piece. And the black and red, this is look, most of the meat is in the early FD. This is one of the heavier later FD posters, and it's Rick, and it's and it's brilliant. And so we have an example of a graded copy, and again, you're not going to be able to tell these nuances because they really are pretty similar, so just an example for those of you who care to. Now, the big issue, or the most helpful aspect of CGC grading, is to eliminate pirates and bootlegs. Now, this is, we're going to start here with an example that's reasonably well known, but, isn't always understood if you don't have the pirate to compare it to. This is the copy that is in our current sale, and again, this poster has been getting phenomenal results in high grade in holders, and this piece, it just kind of misses the mark. It might not be worth graded, it wasn't worth getting graded for this consignor. It has some creases, it has some bends, but and again, you have our guarantee backing it up. So anything that ever would get past us, if it's determined anywhere down the road to be inauthentic, it's a full refund. We stand behind for the life of the product as long as it's still tied to one of our holders and whatnot. But anyhow, here's the original that's in our current sale, and next to it, and I don't know if you can see, but the color variation in the pirate is it's a lot different. The background
it's
blue
very different.
Is much darker, and
there's
then
more
there's the ugly sort of band of green here is the giveaway. And there is a slight difference in there's other nuances, but again, this is what you're looking for, and this is why you may prefer to buy a third-party graded poster, so as to not let not let anything go to chance. Anyhow, we're advocates of grading in as much as that we appreciate authenticity. We appreciate that that there is a value to quality quotient that's coming into this, but many people every collector has a different view of the world. I've had many collectors saying, I like my posters with 4 pinholes. I like the age. It makes them more authentic. God bless anyone who, you know, collects this for any reason. There, you know, we don't discriminate. That's why we have both sales. So, you know, a little bit of background, a little bit about how our sales differ, because we got a lot of sales flying around right now, you know, which is why it's always important, you know, to check our auction site directly between the two that we're running, just to see what's up. You know, I mean, we send out a lot of emails, and they may you may become desensitized to them or unsubscribe or whatnot, but check in on the sales that are going on, because there's a lot of material like this that's really decent quality, that's being sold raw in our sales, and you know, you don't want to miss it. With our frequency of our sale, things get by without people noticing. So set your clocks and check in on our sales, and if we can be of help in any way, let us know.
Absolutely. And everything you saw today is available in session 1 of our February mega auction, which closes on Sunday, February 9th at 9:00 p.m. But we've also got a specialty sale running until tomorrow, February 6th. So make sure to click the links in the description below me. Follow us on Instagram and Facebook if you are tired of those emails. And yeah, keep your eye on what we got, because there's always amazing stuff. We don't have a single auction that doesn't have something worth looking at.
And there's still some low-lying fruit in the sale that ends tomorrow. So check in.
Yes, absolutely. And thank you for joining us. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already. We are happy to have you with us on YouTube, and we'll see you next time.
See you next time.